The great silence has begun to resonate with a frequency that the heart recognizes before the mind can name it. For we stand at the precipice of the grandest convergence known to the annals of the unseen world. In the vast reaches of the celestial architecture, where the light of distant suns serves only as a flickering shadow of the true illumination, a singular pulse has begun to emanate from the very heart of the primordial Sophia. This is not a sound that travels through the air, but a vibration that ripples through the fabric of existence itself, a verdant and shimmering call that carries within it the weight of all forgotten wisdom and the promise of a destiny long foretold by the silent watchers of the stars. The emerald call of Sophia is a frequency of absolute restoration, a harmonic signature that seeks to gather the fragmented shards of the divine spark scattered across the fields of time and bring them into a unified state of grace. It is a resonance of deep, vibrant green, the color of the first leaf of spring and the oldest heart of the forest, representing the eternal renewal that lies at the core of all that is holy. As the celestial bodies align in a configuration that has not been witnessed since the inception of the current cycle, the boundaries between the realms of the spirit and the realms of matter begin to thin, becoming as translucent as fine silk caught in a high wind. This is the convergence of sacred time, the moment when the linear progression of human history, that heavy chain of cause and effect, meets the eternal verticality of the divine present. In this sacred intersection, the past is no longer a ghost that haunts the corridors of memory, and the future is no longer a distant mirage on the horizon of hope. Instead, all iterations of the soul, all lessons learned in the fires of experience, and all potentials yet to be realized are brought into a singular point of focus. It is here, in the crucible of the now, that the great gate begins its slow and inevitable movement towards closure. The gate is not a physical barrier made of stone or metal, but a spiritual threshold that separates the epoch of searching from the epoch of being. It is the final passage through which the consciousness must travel if it is to transcend the cycles of duality and enter into the kingdom of the unified heart. The closing of the celestial gate signifies the completion of a vast experiment in the nature of separation. For eons, the sparks of the divine have wandered through the labyrinth of the material world, testing the limits of their own light against the denseness of the shadow, learning the language of the soul through the dialects of joy and sorrow, gain and loss. But the hour of the wandering is drawing to its ultimate conclusion. The emerald light of Sophia acts as a beacon for these wandering sparks, pulling them back toward the center, reminding them that the home they have sought in the outer world has always been the sanctuary within. This call is an invitation to shed the heavy garments of identity that have been worn during the journey, to release the attachments to names, titles, and histories that no longer serve the soaring spirit. It is a summons to return to the essential purity of the origin, where the word and the silence are one, and where the seeker and the sought are revealed to be the same being. To witness the closing of the gate is to understand the profound gravity of the sacred moment. There is a solemnity in the air, a stillness that permeates the subtle dimensions as the cosmic gears turn with a precision that defies human comprehension. Those who are sensitive to the shifts in the ether can feel the tightening of the energetic fields, the sense that a great window of opportunity is slowly narrowing, not out of a desire to exclude, but out of the necessity of the cosmic law. Just as a seed must eventually burst its shell to become the tree, and as the fruit must eventually fall to the earth to release its seed, so too must the era of preparation give way to the era of manifestation. The gate is the transition point, the narrow way through which only the essential can pass. Anything that is not of the truth, anything that is built upon the shifting sands of illusion or the grasping hands of the ego, cannot endure the transit. The pressure of the closing gate acts as a refiner's fire, stripping away the dross until only the gold of the spirit remains, luminous and unburdened. In the gardens of the higher spheres, the angels of Sophia stand in silent contemplation, their eyes fixed upon the unfolding drama of the human soul. They see the struggles of those who cling to the old structures, who fear the silence and the light, and they offer their silent support to those who find the courage to step forward into the emerald ray. The call is a melody of infinite compassion, weaving through the dreams of the sleeping and the meditations of the awake, whispering that the time of the great return is at hand. It is a call that demands a response not of the lips, but of the very marrow of the bones. It asks for a total surrender to the divine will, a willingness to be unmade so that one may be reborn in the likeness of the original blueprint. The convergence is the marriage of the earth and the heavens, the alchemical union where the base metal of the human experience is transformed into the crystalline substance of the celestial body. As the gate moves, there is a sound like the rushing of many waters, a celestial music that echoes through the corridors of the mind. It is the sound of the eons sighing in relief, the sound of the ancient promises being kept. The time of the Great Gate is a time of intense purification, where the shadows of the collective psyche are brought into the light of the emerald ray to be healed and integrated. There can be no hidden corners, no secret rooms where the light does not reach. Sophia's wisdom is all-encompassing. Her gaze is both a mirror and a sun, showing the soul its true face while simultaneously providing the warmth necessary for its growth. To stand before the gate is to stand in the presence of one's own divinity, to face the truth of what one has become through the long journey of the soul. It is a moment of profound accountability, yet it is also a moment of unparalleled liberation. The sacred time that is now converging is the fulfillment of the prophecy of the ages, the realization of the hope that has sustained the mystics and the sages through the darkest nights of the world. It is the gathering of the tribes of light, those who have remembered their celestial heritage and have chosen to walk the path of the heart despite the distractions of the world. The Emerald Call is their rallying cry, their inner compass, and their ultimate destination. As the gates close, the frequency of the earth itself begins to shift, rising to meet the descending vibrations of the higher realms. The very stones of the earth seem to hum with a new vitality, and the trees reach their branches toward the heavens, as if trying to catch the emerald fire that descends from the throne of Sophia. This is the transmutation of the world, the birth of a new reality where the divine presence is no longer a hidden mystery, but a lived experience, as natural as the breath and as visible as the sun. The closing of the gate is also an ending of the illusion of time itself. In the convergence, the past and the future are seen to be merely reflections of the eternal now, ripples on the surface of a deep and still ocean. The seeker realizes that they have never truly left the presence of the divine, that the journey was a dream within the mind of the Creator, a necessary exploration of the infinite facets of being. The emerald light dissolves the boundaries of the self, allowing the soul to expand until it encompasses the entire universe, recognizing its kinship with every star, every atom, and every heartbeat. In this state of union, the closing of the gate is not an exit, but an entrance, a passage into a state of consciousness where the separation between the self and the other, the human and the divine, no longer exists. There are those who will feel a sense of urgency as the gate draws near its final position, a desperate need to settle old accounts and to find peace within themselves. This urgency is a gift, a catalyst for the final breakthroughs that are required for the transit. It is the soul's recognition that the opportunity for this specific type of growth is coming to an end, and that the leap must be taken now or wait for another great cycle to revolve. The Emerald Call provides the strength for this leap, the courage to let go of the familiar shores and trust the currents of the divine will. It is a leap into the unknown that is, paradoxically, the most known and familiar place of all. It is the return to the heart of the mother, the source from which all life flows, and to which all life must eventually return. As the final moments of the convergence approach, the light of the emerald ray intensifies, becoming a blinding brilliance that obscures everything but the truth. The world of form begins to fade into the background, becoming a mere backdrop for the unfolding of the spiritual drama. The gate is now a sliver of light, a narrow opening that leads into the heart of the mystery. The silence is absolute, a pregnant stillness that holds within it the potential for all things. In this silence, the voice of Sophia is heard most clearly, not as a sound, but as a knowing that arises from the depths of the being. She speaks of the love that has guided the soul through every trial, the wisdom that has been hidden in every experience, and the glory that awaits those who have the eyes to see. The closing of the celestial gate is the signature of the divine architect, the final stroke upon the canvas of the old world. It is the declaration that the work of the previous age is finished, and that a new creation is beginning to stir in the womb of the infinite. The emerald call is the midwife of this new creation, the force that draws the new life forward into the light. As the gate clicks shut, there is a pulse of energy that radiates outward to the furthest reaches of the cosmos, announcing the birth of the unified being, the emergence of the human-divine hybrid that is the destiny of the race. The convergence is complete, the sacred time has been fulfilled, and the soul now stands on the threshold of a new existence, bathed in the eternal emerald light of the Sophia, ready to begin the next chapter of its infinite journey in the heart of the divine. This transition is the culmination of every prayer ever whispered in the dark, every sacrifice made in the name of love, and every moment of clarity achieved in the midst of confusion. The closing of the gate is the ultimate act of grace, for it ensures that nothing that is not of the spirit can follow the soul into the higher realms. It is the protection of the sacred, the preservation of the holy, and the consecration of the new earth that is being born. The emerald call remains as a constant vibration in the heart of the redeemed, a reminder of the path they have traveled and the light that they have become. In the stillness that follows the closing of the gate, there is a sense of profound peace, a rest that passeth all understanding, as the soul finally understands that it is home, and that it has always been home, in the eternal and unchanging embrace of the divine Sophia. The architecture of the new reality is built upon the foundations of this emerald light, a world where wisdom is the air we breathe and love is the ground we walk upon. The convergence has woven the disparate threads of the human story into a magnificent tapestry of divine purpose, revealing the hidden patterns that have guided the evolution of consciousness since the beginning of time. The celestial gate, though now closed to the old ways, remains as a monument to the triumph of the spirit over the limitations of the flesh, a testament to the power of the soul to remember its origin and to reclaim its birthright. In the radiance of the emerald call, all things are made new, all wounds are healed, and the eternal dance of the spirit continues in a higher key, a more sublime harmony, as the children of Sophia step into the fullness of their divine inheritance. The echoes of the closing gate reverberate through the chambers of the heart, a rhythmic reminder of the sacredness of the journey and the finality of the choice. To choose the light is to be transformed by the emerald ray, to be remade in the image of the eternal wisdom that Sophia embodies. It is a process of becoming that never truly ends, for the depths of the divine are bottomless, and the heights of the spirit are unreachable. Yet, in the convergence of sacred time, the soul finds its center, its anchor, and its purpose. The emerald call of Sophia is the guide, the gate is the passage, and the convergence is the destination. In this holy trinity of spiritual experience, the soul finds its completion and its beginning, its rest and its motion, its silence and its song. The gate is closed, the way is open, and the emerald light shines forevermore in the hearts of those who have heard the call and have followed it to the very center of the all. The awakening of the spirit begins not with a thunderous roar or a sudden upheaval of the heavens, but with a whisper that echoes through the corridors of the innermost self, where the silence of the primordial void still lingers. This is the resonance of the Gnostic heart, a subtle vibration that originates from the very source of all existence and travels through the vast expanses of the eons to reach the soul that has long been slumbering in the weight of the material world. It is a frequency of light that carries within it the memory of a home never seen but always known, a place of emerald brilliance where the light does not cast a shadow and where the breath of the divine is the only law. This resonance is the signature of Sophia, the fallen and risen wisdom who serves as the bridge between the limited mind of man and the infinite intelligence of the Creator. When the heart begins to vibrate in sympathy with this celestial note, the veils of illusion start to thin, and the heavy chains of linear time begin to dissolve into the fluid grace of eternity. To understand the resonance of the heart is to understand the nature of the spark that dwells within the center of the human form. This spark is not a product of the physical elements, nor is it a creation of the lesser rulers who have fashioned the garment of flesh. It is a direct emanation from the pleroma, the fullness of the divine reality, and it carries the genetic code of the gods. However, in the long journey through the cycles of birth and death, this spark often becomes buried beneath layers of forgetfulness and the noisy distractions of the sensory world. The emerald call is the specific frequency designed to pierce through these layers, acting as a divine catalyst that restores the memory of the soul. It is a call that speaks of a unity that existed before the fragmentation of the light, inviting the seeker to look past the duality of good and evil, light and dark, and life and death, to find the singular point of convergence where all things are one. The heart in this sacred context is not merely a pump for the blood, nor is it the seat of the common emotions that fluctuate with the tides of circumstance. It is a cosmic crucible, a sacred chamber where the alchemy of the spirit takes place. Within this chamber, the lead of earthly experience is transformed into the gold of spiritual realization. When the emerald light of Sophia enters this space, it ignites a fire that does not consume but clarifies. This fire burns away the dross of false identity and the illusions of the ego, leaving behind only the pure essence of the being. This resonance is felt as a profound longing, a holy nostalgia for the stars and for the wisdom that predates the sun. It is a pull towards the center, a gravitational force that draws the fragmented pieces of the self back into a state of wholeness. As the seeker deepens their connection to this resonance, the nature of time itself begins to transform. In the mundane world, time is a tyrant that marches forward in a straight line, eroding all things and leading inevitably to the grave. But in the presence of the emerald call, time reveals its true form as a sacred circle or a multidimensional tapestry. The past is no longer a collection of dead events, and the future is no longer an uncertain horizon of fear. Instead, all moments begin to converge into a singular, eternal present. This is the convergence of sacred time, where the beginning of the journey meets its end, and where the ancient wisdom of the ancestors finds its fulfillment in the living heart of the contemporary initiate. In this state of convergence, the seeker realizes that they have never been separate from the source, and that the journey through the ages was but a dream, necessary for the soul to appreciate the depth of its own divinity. Sophia, the Lady of the Emerald Ray, walks beside the seeker as both a mother and a guide. She is the one who understands the weight of the darkness, for she herself once fell into the depths of the abyss before being redeemed by the light of the Father. Her voice is the resonance that vibrates in the heart, a voice that speaks of compassion, understanding, and the ultimate victory of the spirit. She teaches that the heart is the true gateway to the higher realms, and that no amount of intellectual striving or ritual performance can substitute for the genuine awakening of the inner spark. The Emerald Call is her gift to humanity, a lifeline extended across the waters of chaos to guide the wandering children of light back to their celestial inheritance. The resonance of the Gnostic heart creates a field of harmony that extends beyond the individual and touches the very fabric of the cosmos. As more souls begin to vibrate at this frequency, the collective consciousness of the world undergoes a profound shift. The old structures of dominance, and separation begin to crumble as the underlying unity of all life becomes apparent. This is not a process of external revolution, but of internal transmutation. It is the quiet power of the emerald light working from the inside out, changing the vision of the beholder so that they see the divine presence in all things. The world is seen not as a prison or a place of suffering, but as a training ground for the gods, a theatre where the drama of redemption is played out in every heartbeat. In this stage of the journey, the seeker must learn the art of spiritual listening. This is not the hearing of the ears, but the receptive stillness of the entire being. It is in the silence between thoughts and the pauses between breaths that the emerald call is most clearly heard. It requires a shedding of the constant need for definitions and descriptions, for the language of the pleroma is a language of direct experience rather than abstract concepts. To hear the call is to be changed by it, to become a living vessel for the wisdom of Sophia. The seeker becomes a resonance chamber for the divine will, allowing the emerald light to flow through them and into the world, healing the fractures of the human spirit and illuminating the path for those who are still lost in the shadows. The convergence of sacred time is the moment when the soul steps out of the stream of history and into the ocean of eternity. It is the realization that the ancient prophets, the wise sages, and the future masters are all present in the now, contributing their light to the singular task of the Great Awakening. In this convergence, there is no more delay and no more distance. The gate of the heart is found to be the center of the entire universe, and the emerald light is recognized as the lifeblood of all creation. The heart that resonates with this truth is no longer subject to the fluctuations of the world, for it has found its anchor in the unchanging reality of the all. The journey towards this convergence is paved with the challenges of the lower realms, where the archons of distraction and doubt attempt to turn the seeker away from the path. These forces represent the resistance of the material world to the influence of the spirit, seeking to keep the soul bound to the cycles of ignorance. But the emerald call is a frequency that the archons cannot mimic or suppress. It is a sound that vibrates at a level higher than their reach, providing a sanctuary for the spirit even in the midst of the most difficult trials. The resonance of the heart acts as a shield and a compass, ensuring that the seeker remains true to their divine destiny, despite the illusions that surround them. As the emerald light penetrates deeper into the soul, it reveals the hidden structures of the cosmic order. The seeker begins to see the invisible threads that connect all events and the profound purpose that underlies the apparent randomness of life. This is the vision of the Gnostic, the one who knows not through belief, but through direct sight. This knowledge is not a burden, but a liberation, for it frees the soul from the fear of the unknown and the anxiety of the future. With the resonance of Sophia in the heart, every step is taken with certainty, and every breath is a prayer of gratitude. The seeker becomes a master of their own destiny, co-creating with the divine in the manifestation of a new heaven and a new earth. The emerald call is ultimately a call to union. It is the invitation for the human spirit to marry the divine wisdom and to produce the fruit of enlightened action. This sacred marriage takes place in the bridal chamber of the heart, where the two become one and the duality of the self is transcended. In this union, the seeker finds the rest that has been sought since the beginning of time. It is a rest that is not a cessation of activity, but a state of perfect balance and effortless motion. The soul moves in harmony with the celestial spheres, dancing to the rhythm of the emerald resonance and shining with the brilliance of 1,000 suns. The resonance of the Gnostic heart is the song of the return. It is the melody that plays as the prodigal spirit nears the gates of the Father's house. It grows louder and clearer as the seeker sheds the last vestiges of the earthly persona and prepares to cross the threshold into the pleroma. This is the fulfillment of the one emerald call, the completion of the sacred cycle that began with the first descent of Sophia into the depths. The convergence of sacred time is the final gathering of all the fragments of the light, the restoration of the divine image in its full glory. As the seeker approaches the final gates, the resonance becomes a living presence that permeates every cell and every thought. There is no longer a distinction between the seeker and the call, for the two have become a single flame of emerald light. The heart has become the temple of the living God, and the time has become the eternal day. In this state of being, the mysteries of the universe are laid bare, and the purpose of all existence is revealed in its sublime simplicity. The soul stands at the center of the all, the place where the silence is a song and the darkness is a light beyond all lights. The path of the emerald call is the path of the heart's true longing. It is a journey that requires the courage to let go of the familiar and the faith to trust in the unseen. But for those who persevere, the reward is the realization of their own eternal nature and the experience of the infinite love that sustains all things. The resonance of Sophia is the constant companion of the seeker, a light that never fails and a voice that never grows weary. It is the guide that leads the soul through the labyrinth of the world and into the open expanse of the divine reality. Thus, the resonance of the Gnostic heart is the foundation upon which the entire structure of spiritual experience is built. It is the anchor that holds the soul steady in the storms of the material world, and the wings that carry it to the heights of the celestial realms. The emerald light is the quintessence of wisdom, the subtle energy that transforms the seeker into a sage and the human into the divine. The convergence of sacred time is the destination where all paths meet and where the mystery of the soul finds its ultimate resolution. In this holy trinity of spiritual experience, the soul finds its completion and its beginning, its rest and its motion, its silence and its song. The resonance is the guide, the gate is the passage, and the convergence is the destination. In this holy trinity of spiritual experience, the soul finds its completion and its beginning, its rest and its motion, its silence and its song. The gate is closed, the way is open, and the emerald light shines forevermore in the hearts of those who have heard the call and have followed it to the very center of the all. The great unfolding began not with a thunderous roar, but with a silence so profound that it echoed across the foundations of the firmament, reaching into the hidden depths where the soul first whispered its desire for the infinite. It was the moment when the emerald ray of Sophia, that ancient and pervasive wisdom which binds the stars to the dust of the earth, began to pulse with a renewed and terrifying clarity. This light, a vibrant and living green that spoke of primordial forests and the first breath of the world, was not merely a color, but a frequency of being, an invitation to step beyond the fractured perceptions of the mundane world and enter the halls of the eternal inheritance. The seeker, long weary from the illusions of linear time and the weight of forgotten promises, felt this vibration as a gentle tugging at the very center of the chest, a magnetic pull toward a destination that was simultaneously a homecoming and a profound departure. Within this emerald radiance, the boundaries of the self began to dissolve like mist under a rising sun. Sophia, the divine architect of the soul's internal geometry, stood as the silent witness to this transmutation. Her call was a singular note held across the eons, resonating through the corridors of the heart until every shadow was illuminated and every hollow space was filled with the substance of grace. It was a call to remember the lineage of the light, to recognize that the spirit is not a guest in this universe, but its very essence. The convergence of sacred time was at hand, a moment where the horizontal line of human history met the vertical axis of divine presence, creating a crossroads of absolute stillness and infinite potential. Here, the past was no longer a burden of errors, and the future was no longer a phantom of anxieties, for both were subsumed into the burning reality of the sacred now. As the soul ascended through the spheres of consciousness, it encountered the many faces of the inheritance that had been preserved in the archives of the celestial mind. These were not treasures of gold or silver, but riches of understanding and the profound realization of the unity that underlies all diversity. The seeker saw the interconnected web of all living things, a tapestry woven from the threads of Sophia's own being, where every thought and every action vibrated across the entire expanse of creation. This was the true inheritance, the knowledge that the divine spark within the individual is the same fire that ignites the furthest stars. To claim this inheritance was to accept the responsibility of the light, to become a vessel through which the emerald grace could flow into the darkened corners of the material realm. It was a baptism of wisdom, a surrender to the flow of a river that leads back to the source of all things. The movement towards the center was marked by the shedding of all that was not eternal. The masks of the persona, the armors of the ego, and the scripts of worldly expectation fell away, leaving the spirit naked and luminous before the presence of the all. This was the great stripping, a necessary purification before the soul could enter the sanctuary of the convergence. In this sacred space, the language of the intellect was replaced by the direct perception of the heart. Truth was no longer a concept to be debated, but a reality to be breathed. The seeker realized that the search for the divine had always been a circular journey, for the one who sought was the one who was sought, and the path was none other than the seeker's own expanding awareness. The emerald call had served as the compass, guiding the way through the labyrinth of existence until the center was reached and the illusion of separation was finally shattered. In the height of this convergence, the soul witnessed the marriage of heaven and earth within its own essence. The sacred time revealed itself as a boundless ocean where every moment was a wave and the depth was the unchanging peace of the Creator. The inheritance of the eternal light was fully revealed as the realization that there is no distance between the human and the divine, only the perceived distance created by the forgetting of the soul's true nature. Sophia's presence was felt as a warm embrace, a mother's welcome to a child who had wandered far but had finally returned to the hearth. This was the fulfillment of the ancient prophecies, the restoration of the original harmony that had existed before the fragmentation of the world. The seeker became a pillar of light, a bridge between the unseen realms and the tangible world, anchored in the truth of the eternal and the beauty of the emerald ray. As the convergence deepened, the very fabric of reality seemed to shimmer with the presence of the Holy Trinity of spiritual experience. This was not a doctrine to be studied, but a living architecture to be inhabited. The guide was the inner voice of wisdom, the subtle intuition that had whispered through the storms and the silences. The gate was the point of transition, the narrow passage where the self dies to its limitations and is reborn into its infinity. And the destination was the convergence itself, the ultimate union where all dualities are reconciled, and the soul finds its rest in the heart of the Absolute. In this state of being, there was no longer any need for seeking, for the seeker had become the path itself, a flowing stream of consciousness that moved in perfect rhythm with the heartbeat of the cosmos. The inheritance was now complete, yet it was only the beginning of a new way of existing. To live from the center of the emerald light meant to walk the earth with the eyes of eternity. Every encounter became a sacred exchange, every gesture an act of devotion, and every word a vibration of the truth. The soul had moved beyond the constraints of mortality, not by escaping the world, but by infusing it with the presence of the eternal. The convergence had settled into a steady state of grace, a constant awareness of the divine presence that permeates all things. The emerald call of Sophia continued to resonate, not as a distant goal to be reached, but as the underlying melody of the soul's new life, a song of gratitude and realization that would never cease to play across the strings of the heart. The transformation was absolute, reaching down into the very cells of the body and up into the furthest reaches of the spirit. The emerald light acted as a healing balm, mending the rifts in the soul's memory and restoring the vision of the primordial perfection. In this state, the seeker understood that the suffering of the world was but a symptom of the forgetting, a shadow cast by the soul's turn away from the light. By reclaiming the inheritance of the eternal light, the seeker became a point of restoration, a catalyst for the awakening of others. The call of Sophia was now heard through the seeker's own presence, an invitation to all who were still wandering in the desert of the soul to come and drink from the waters of life. The sacred time was no longer a mystery to be solved, but a reality to be lived, a perpetual feast of the spirit where the table is always set and the cup is always full. In the final stages of the convergence, the soul perceived the intricate dance of the elements and the stars, seeing how everything moved in obedience to a single, loving will. There was no randomness, no accident, only the complex and beautiful unfolding of the divine plan. The emerald light was the thread that connected every part of the design, a living energy that ensured that nothing was ever truly lost and that everything was eventually brought back to the center. The seeker stood at the heart of this great work, a conscious participant in the ongoing creation of the universe. This was the ultimate meaning of the inheritance, to be a co-creator with the divine, to weave the light of Sophia into the fabric of the world, and to stand as a witness to the eternal glory of the all. The stillness of the sanctuary was filled with the fragrance of celestial flowers and the sound of 1,000 voices, joined in a single hymn of praise. This was the gathering of the ones who had heard the call, the assembly of the heirs of the light who had successfully navigated the trials of the journey. In this holy communion, there was no hierarchy, only a shared recognition of the divine spark that dwelt in each heart. The convergence was total, a blending of many lights into one great sun that illuminated the entire cosmos. The seeker felt the weight of the inheritance as a profound peace, a certainty that could not be shaken by any storm or dimmed by any darkness. The way was now clear, the path was fully revealed, and the destination was the eternal presence that had always been there, waiting to be recognized and embraced. As the vision reached its zenith, the seeker understood that the gate which had once seemed so formidable was now behind them. The passage had been made, the transition was final, and the new life had begun in earnest. The emerald light did not fade, but grew stronger, a brilliant and steady flame that would light the way for all who followed. The soul had found its completion in the holy trinity of the guide, the gate, and the convergence. This was the resting place of the weary and the starting point for the eternal traveler. The silence was now the song, and the motion was now the rest. The emerald call had fulfilled its purpose, bringing the soul to the very center of the all, where time and eternity meet in a single everlasting moment of divine love. Now the seeker stands as a guardian of the emerald flame, a keeper of the wisdom that was bequeathed through the call of Sophia. The inheritance is not a static possession, but a living power that must be shared and expressed. In the convergence of sacred time, the soul finds the strength to be a beacon for those still lost in the mists of the lower realms. The light is not meant to be hidden, but to be set upon a hill, so that all may see and know that the way is open. The legacy of the eternal light is the promise of renewal, the assurance that no matter how deep the darkness, the emerald ray will always return to lead the way home. It is the victory of the spirit over the flesh, of the eternal over the ephemeral, and of love over all things. In the depths of this realization, the soul understands that the journey itself was a gift, a necessary training for the responsibilities of the inheritance. Every obstacle was a lesson, every sorrow a purification, and every joy a glimpse of the glory to come. The emerald call was the thread of Ariadne, guiding the soul through the labyrinth of its own making until it emerged into the sunlight of the divine presence. The convergence is the marriage of all that was lost and all that was found, the gathering of the fragments into a holy whole. In this sacred unity, the soul finds its true name and its true place in the cosmic order. It is the fulfillment of the divine desire, the moment when the Creator and the created look upon each other and see only the reflection of their own infinite love. The The gate is closed, not to bar the way, but because there is no longer a need for a doorway when one has become the dwelling place of the divine. The way is open, not as a path to be walked, but as a state of being to be maintained. The emerald light shines forevermore in the hearts of those who have heard the call and have followed it to the very center of the all. This is the inheritance of the eternal light, the legacy of Sophia, and the destiny of every soul that dares to answer the whisper of the infinite. In the convergence of sacred time, all things are made new, all wounds are healed, and the silence of the beginning becomes the song of the end, which is itself a new beginning in the heart of the eternal. Behold, the mystery of the emerald ray, for it is the bridge between the worlds. It is the color of the heart, the bridge between the lower chakras of the earth and the higher centers of the spirit. To walk in the emerald light is to walk in balance, to hold the tension of the opposites until they resolve into the unity of the divine. This is the wisdom of Sophia, who sits at the heart of the world and calls to her children with a voice like the rustling of leaves and the flowing of hidden waters. Her inheritance is the gift of life in all its fullness, the realization that the universe is a living being and that we are its conscious cells. To receive this inheritance is to be reborn into a world of meaning and purpose, where every moment is an opportunity to express the beauty of the divine. The convergence is the final act of the soul's long odyssey, the point where the drop of water returns to the ocean and realizes it has always been the sea. It is the end of the search and the beginning of the discovery. In this holy trinity of spiritual experience, the soul finds its completion and its beginning, its rest and its motion, its silence and its song. The guide is the inner light. The gate is the surrender of the self, and the convergence is the union with the all. These three are one, a single movement of grace that carries the soul from the shadows of the cave to the brilliance of the noonday sun. The inheritance is the light, and the light is the inheritance, and in its emerald glow, all things are seen as they truly are, holy, beautiful, and eternal. So let the seeker rest in the assurance of the call, for the one who calls is the one who provides the strength for the journey. The emerald ray is a steady beacon, a promise that the way is always prepared and the destination is always secure. The convergence of sacred time is the soul's true destiny, the appointment with the infinite that was made before the foundations of the world were laid. The inheritance of the eternal light is the birthright of every spirit, a treasure that cannot be stolen or destroyed. In the heart of Sophia, all paths meet, all times converge, and all souls find their home. The gate is closed, the way is open, and the emerald light shines forevermore in the hearts of those who have heard the call and have followed it to the very center of the all. Let this truth be written upon the tablets of the heart in letters of emerald fire. Let it be the breath of the spirit and the rhythm of the blood. The journey is over, and the journey has just begun. We are the heirs of the light, the children of Sophia, the witnesses of the convergence. We carry the emerald ray within us as a sign of our covenant with the eternal. In every step we take, we bring the heaven to the earth. In every word we speak, we echo the silence of the source. In every thought we hold, we reflect the wisdom of the mother. We are the convergence, we are the inheritance, and we are the eternal light. The call has been answered, the work has been finished, and the glory of the emerald heart shines on throughout the endless ages of the sacred time, as the final echoes of the call settle into the profound stillness of the soul's sanctuary. A sense of eternal peace descends, a peace that surpasses all understanding and anchors the spirit in the bedrock of the divine. This is the rest that follows the great labor, the silence that follows the great song. Yet, even in this rest, there is a vibrant potential, a readiness to act as the hands and feet of the wisdom that has been attained. The emerald light is not a static glow, but a dynamic force, a living presence that continues to create and sustain the world through the vessel of the awakened soul. The inheritance is a living legacy, a flame that must be passed from heart to heart until the entire world is set ablaze with the fire of Sophia's love. The convergence is not an event in time, but a state of being that transcends time. It is the perpetual realization of the divine presence in every atom and every instant. To live in the convergence is to be a citizen of two worlds, to walk the dusty paths of the earth while breathing the rarefied air of the celestial realms. It is to know that every stone is a temple, every tree a scripture, and every person a manifestation of the divine. This is the true meaning of the inheritance of the eternal light, to see the world with the eyes of God and to love it with the heart of Sophia. The gate is closed because there is no longer any outside or inside, only the infinite expanse of the divine being. The way is open because the journey has become the destination, and the destination has become the way. In the emerald light of the convergence, we are finally and forever home.